The new Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, has conveyed a message to Israel that he wants a ceasefire in Gaza. This information was conveyed to Tel Aviv by Egyptian and Qatari mediator CNN writes, and although according to the publication, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is ready to make a deal regardless of the consequences for his ruling coalition, analysts know that there is another interested party here, namely Iran and its proxy forces. Tehran accuses Tel Aviv of eliminating the previous head of the Hamas Politburo, Ismail Haniyeh, on its territory and threatens to attack the Israeli state.
Israel is currently in a rather tense situation. It's on standby. Everyone is sitting in front of their screens and waiting for a response, in quotes or not, from Iran for the elimination of Haniyeh. Although Israel did not take responsibility for this and, of course, for a response from Hezbollah for the elimination of the chief of the general staff of Hezbollah, which occurred in parallel with the elimination of Haniyeh in Tehran.
The United States is trying to avoid a large-scale war in the Middle East, maintains contact through diplomatic channels with Tehran, and also increases its military presence in the region. In particular, the Pentagon announced the dispatch of the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and the nuclear submarine USS Georgia to the Middle East. The Hill newspaper writes that US President Joe Biden is working daily to stop the escalation of the war in the region.
The President and I have been working on this around the clock. We need to get the hostages out. We need a hostage deal and we need a ceasefire. And I can't stress that strongly enough. It needs to get done, the deal needs to get done, and it needs to get done now.
European leaders are also calling for an immediate ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. In a joint statement, the leaders of the United Kingdom, France and Germany also call on Iran to refrain from attacking the Israeli state.
We call on Iran and its allies to refrain from attacks that would further escalate regional tensions and jeopardize the opportunity to agree a ceasefire and the release of hostages. No country or nation stands to gain from a further escalation in the Middle East. From a joint statement by the leaders of the United Kingdom, France and Germany.
Israeli intelligence believes that Iran may attack the country in the coming days, writes Axios, all in order to prevent Tel Aviv and the terrorist group Hamas from reaching agreements on a ceasefire and the release of hostages. According to Politico, Washington believes that Iran may have changed its mind about attacking Israel and will limit itself to a symbolic response.
Iran's supreme ruler Khamenei is holding himself back because, after all, Iran, unlike Hezbollah and Hamas, has pragmatic factors in its policy. Iran has always acted strategically, not emotionally. Therefore, I think that Iran itself may not be interested in a full-scale war, especially when so many hints around Iran are happening in parallel.
Let us remind you that on August the 8th, the United States, Egypt and Qatar called on Israel and Hamas to meet for talks on August the 15th in Cairo and Doha. According to the BBC, the terrorist group Hamas said that its leadership was studying the invitation to negotiate on ceasefire. In turn, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the country's representatives will be present at the meeting. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.